Governor Ron DeSantis just declared war on these Florida cities, and he's already got the boys kicking down doors and taking names. Well, not literally kicking down doors, but you get the point. He actually created a state audit squad, Florida Doge, and sent them into cities and counties to crack open their books with surprise visits, full investigations, and no more free rides with our money. Because your property taxes are going up like crazy, and nobody seems to know or care where all that money's actually going. This is a problem. In this video, I'll show you how one city jacked up property taxes by 83% while hiring a chief climate officer, how another blew $75,000 on a single dinner in New York City, and why DeSantis is now targeting politicians who've been treating your tax dollars like their personal piggy bank. Let's jump in. Let's start with what Florida Doge actually is. It stands for the Department of Government Efficiency, and it sounds like it's straight out of a Harry Potter movie, right? It's not. It's basically a taxpayer hit squad created to hunt down where all your money's going and figure out why property taxes keep going up while your roads still have potholes and your city can't seem to keep the lights on. Governor DeSantis launched this thing because, let's be honest, local governments have been spending like trust fund babies. Property taxes are flooding in, billions of dollars, and there's zero real oversight. Cities and counties act like once that money hits their account, it's theirs to blow. And DeSantis said, no way, not anymore. So he hired Blaise Ingoglia to run Doge, and Blaise came in swinging. First day on the job, he sent audit letters to Gainesville and Broward County. Not, hey, how you doing letters. These were full-blown legal demands. Give us access to your records, your contracts, your DEI programs, your climate spending, your utility budgets, everything. And they're not just requesting. Under Florida law, they have the power to walk in and start digging. If cities don't comply, they get slapped with penalties. So yeah, it's serious. And here's a fun fact. Blaise has just come out and said he's going to change the name of Florida Doge to this: Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight, or FAFO. Do you get it? For those that don't, I'm sure somebody's going to explain it for you in the comments. Now, that just came out today before I started filming this video, and DeSantis is already saying he loves it. Here's his post on X about it. Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight has a nice ring to it. Might need to work up an executive order and make it official. These guys are great. I'll keep you posted, but for the rest of this video, and until it's official, I'm gonna keep calling it Doge. Now, these audits are laser focused on places where spending's been exploding, often without any real explanation. Property tax collections are way up, spending's through the roof, and no one's asking where it's all going. Until now. Doge was built to stop the bleeding. It's not about being nice, it's about protecting the people who are paying the bill, you. And the Doge team didn't just pick Gainesville at random. They went there first for a reason, because property taxes are up 83% since 2020. That's nearly double. And people are asking, wait, for what? Is the city twice as clean? Are services twice as good? No, but the city did find room in the budget for a chief climate officer, an Office of Equity and Inclusion, and millions more are getting funneled into nonprofits, most of which never seem to show what they're actually doing for taxpayers. So yeah, Doge showed up at City Hall with a demand for every contract, every hiring record, every grant. And according to the WCJB News, they were seen going in and out of the building across 2 days, asking questions, pulling documents, digging deep. Blaise even said it flat out. With this kind of spending, it shouldn't be hard to find examples of waste. Then there's Broward County. That audit letter hit the mayor's office same day as Gainesville. The county budget, $7.8 billion. Doge is targeting programs tied to homelessness, DEI, climate change, basically anything that's been sucking up tax dollars with no proof it works. This isn't just a paper audit. The Doge team's coming in person here too. They're walking the halls, logging into systems, and sitting down with staff. And here's the thing, these counties didn't ask for help, they were ordered to comply. Doge isn't some gentle checkup. If you don't play ball, there's real consequences. Because it's about time that someone's actually following the money. And Blaise, he's not pulling punches. And this next one's gonna blow your mind. Let's take a deep dive into Visit Orlando, because this one's out of control. Visit Orlando is the official tourism marketing arm of Orlando and Greater Orange County. It's technically a nonprofit, but it's funded almost entirely by public money, specifically the tourist development tax. That's the 6% tax a tourist pays on hotel stays and vacation rentals. Visit Orlando's total budget in 2023 was about $114 million. and nearly $105 million, or 92% of that, came from the tourist development tax. So while it didn't come from property taxes, it's still taxpayer money. So what happened? An audit by the Orange County Comptroller found that Visit Orlando misclassified at least $3.5 million of that public money as private, letting them spend it however they wanted with no strings attached. Another $996,000 is also being questioned, which could push the total misuse to around $4.5 million. What'd they spend it on? Try $20,600 for 2 March Madness skyboxes? Mostly used by staff and officials, not actual tourism prospects. Then there's a now infamous $75,000 dinner in New York City to promote Orlando restaurants. There were only 40 guests, and it was $1,875 a plate. They spent big money to make Orlando look like a fine dining hotspot, but only one Michelin-rated restaurant from Orlando was even a part of it. Their CEO got a $12,210 car allowance. They spent $6,505 on their office for a fridge and new furniture, and staff racked up $1,821 on tennis shoes, sweaters, and a tux. They even dropped $6,000 on a trade show and didn't show up. And let's not forget the $427,700 spent writing an environmental sustainability policy that nobody can tie to tourism. So what happened to them? Nothing. Nobody got fired, nobody got in trouble, which is why Blaise sent Orange County its own Doge letter. He pointed out they raised property tax collections by $330 million in 5 years and grew spending by $1.6 billion, a 57% increase. DeSantis backed him up. These audits are mandatory now. State teams are going to review everything and bring receipts. Because if Visit Orlando can waste millions with no consequences, you gotta ask, what else is hiding in those budgets? Blaise is gonna find out. Now, I wish I could say it all stops there, that it's just a couple of bad apples, nothing to worry about. But no, it gets worse. Blaise and Florida Doge are just getting warmed up. Jacksonville got the Doge letter too. Since 2020, they pulled in over $400 million more in property taxes, a 57% jump. Even though they kept millage rates mostly flat, that just means home values shot up and the city cashed in. Doge wants to know where that money actually went, because if you're going to take hundreds of millions from property owners, you'd better be able to show what they got in return. And so far, Jacksonville hasn't done that. Now look at Hillsborough County. Over the last 10 years, they've handed out $225 million to local nonprofits, many of them getting automatic checks for decades with barely any oversight. Some of these legacy nonprofits have been locked into the budget for 30 years. No applications, no updates, no proof they're helping anybody. And some of the commissioners have been accused of having ties to some of these nonprofits. That's pretty bad. And here's the thing, Doge isn't stopping there. They're heading into Hillsborough and Pinellas County next. Now, I live in Pinellas, so I'm actually excited to see them coming here. We need all the help we can get finding and cutting out all the waste. And Pinellas County Commissioner Vince Nowicki said he believes the budget's inflated, and he made it clear sunshine and scrutiny are part of good governance. Good for him, man. That's what every commissioner in Florida should be saying right now, because government spending has gotten way out of control. And a lot of the time, it's not even the county's fault. The system is just designed to spend more of your money year after year, not protect it until now. Doge is coming in hot, and if you hear anybody whining about it, that's probably someone who doesn't want their budget looked at. And let's be clear, Florida's not broke. The state doesn't have an income problem, it's got a discipline problem. There's money coming in from every angle: tourism taxes, property taxes, gas taxes, you name it. What's missing is somebody watching how it's being spent. Based on watchdog reports, state audits, and patterns seen in other states, most experts agree that anywhere from 5 to 10% of local government spending can be wasteful, misused, or flat out fraudulent. And that's just the stuff that gets caught. We're not just talking about criminal fraud either. This includes crony contracts that never go out for bid, nonprofits getting taxpayer checks for decades with no audits or results, departments inflating their budgets just to avoid cuts the following year, and all the little perks, travel, and vanity projects that nobody asked for. It adds up fast. In a county with a $2 billion budget, 10% means $200 million down the drain, and nobody even blinks. That's why Doge showing up is such a big deal. It's not just about catching a few bad actors, it's about shaking up a system where leaking money has become business as usual. And DeSantis is one of the few politicians actually trying to do something about it. He's in his last term. He could just chill out and plan his next move, like running for president, and ride off into the sunset. But he's not. Instead, he built a watchdog agency, Florida Doge, gave it teeth, and turned it loose on local governments. You wouldn't let your accountant burn through your bank account without explaining the charges, so why let City Hall do it? DeSantis knows that, Blaise knows that, and after Doge, every city in Florida is going to know it too. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, this is the one thing we should all agree on. Politicians have been blowing through our money like it's a birthday party with no budget. They don't feel it, we do. Property taxes go up, spending gets bigger, and nobody ever gets fired. Doesn't matter who's in office. If they're torching our money, they should answer for it. This is how we start moving toward ending property taxes in Florida. You're gonna hear the usual excuses like, we can't afford it. That's because they're used to spending every dime that hits the bank account. The second we try to cap that off, they'll start crying about cuts. Don't fall for it. These are the same people complaining that Doge is poking around their budgets. You know why? Because your property taxes are their slush fund, their golden goose, and as long as we keep paying, they'll keep blowing it. Here's the truth. We don't truly own our homes if we have to pay rent to the government every year just to keep them. That's what property taxes are, rent. You want to change that? It starts by watching every single dollar they spend. Because property taxes in Florida are out of control, and in some places, it's worse than anybody realizes. Click here to learn the 4 Florida cities to avoid because property taxes are exploding. Don't buy in any of these 4 cities until you know what you're getting yourself into. Click here and I'll see you there.